32nd show overall and 9+ seasons spread out over 11 years now. We're live from Al's Barbecue near the corner of Cypress Creek Road and Old 183, just behind the CVS there. We'll be here until 9 o'clock. Come on down and join us. Joining me a little later tonight, he's had a blowout on the highway near the airport. He's trying to get here. King of Laces out, former Whiteout, member of our 2010 District Championship team and regional finalist. And that is the wonderful Willard of Oz, lifetime Timberwolf, Josh Willard, joining us a little bit later tonight here on Timberwolf Night in America. All right, Daniel Garrigan, our quality assurance agent tonight, closely and diligently monitoring the broadcast from that super secret, high-tech, low-maintenance, ultra-modern, technically advanced, stealthily cloaked pinnacle of online broadcast technology that is the Vype Studios, making sure we don't sound like a bunch of boat anchors tumbling around inside a cement mixer. Our guest tonight will be the trainers. Their mentor, David Bowman, couldn't make it tonight, but he's got several of his minions here. We'll be welcoming the trainer minions aboard between 8 and 8:30. About 8 of them, I think. This year's Booster Club sponsors, Covert Ford, of course, Al's Barbecue, Sewell Land Rover and Jaguar, Mission of Hope, Life Family, Reap Financial, TJ Lewis Real Estate, Raising Canes, Kathy Tam Photography, Moongear Real Estate, ROI, Sport Performance and Physical Therapy, Family Emergency Room at Lakeline, One Stop, Rudy's Barbecue, Army Ant Moving, Majores, Firehouse Subs, and HEB, where I spent about 2 hours today. Remember that our new sponsor, Family Emergency Room of Lakeline, now providing free athletic clearance physicals for all athletes at Cedar Park High School and Cedar Park Middle School, so get on over there and get that done if you need to. Here's what's on the menu for tonight's show. Going to give our latest state of the program update, a postmortem on the absolute vivisection of Leander last Friday night, a glance at that game's effect on our school record book, a look at other local scores from last week. We have scheduled a walk through the wonderful world of Willard with the Willard of Oz. We don't know if he's going to be here on time to do that or not. And then we'll bring on tonight's guests, the trainers. Then we're going to take a look at some of the team defensive stats, the best defense in the district. And we'll play one of our traditional trivia games with our guests, plus this year's new trivia game, Steal Josh's Ice Cream. By that time, that's more than an hour away. I think he'll be here. And we'll wrap it all up with a preview of Georgetown. Now, an item that's firmly within Josh's favorite category of, so you're saying there's a chance. Believe it or not, after the bad start in our first 2 games, we were all looking at our schedule and wondering if we could see a single game out there we could win. And after being 1-5 after coming back from those back-to-back trips to College Station, this Cedar Park football team is not only going to the playoffs for the 15th consecutive season. Soak this in. There's an outside chance that they could still get a piece of the district crown. Here's what has to happen for Cedar Park to get a district championship for the 13th time. Obviously, we've got to be Georgetown. We should bet on that one to happen. Less likely, but still quite possible, is that Consolidated has to lose to Glenn. Glenn is a lot better team than their stats against us would indicate. Remember, they took the other C-Stat team, College Station, to overtime before they lost. Glenn is not a bad football team, and that slot T offense gives everybody troubles. They could beat Consolidated. But even less likely is that College Station has to lose to Hendrickson. Now, Hendrickson is not in the bottom of the pile. That's Leander and Eastview. They're both winless, and they'll be playing each other this week for the right to the first draft choice, I guess. But Hendrickson has won 2 of their last 3, and they've got some players. They got some athletes. Plus, College Station has to come to the field to play Hendrickson. So that's not impossible. It is improbable. But again, none of those outcomes are impossible. We've seen good play out of Glenn and Hendrickson lately, while both C-Stat teams have started looking more vulnerable. If those 3 outcomes happen this week, the regular season ends in a 4-way tie at the top of 15-5A between College Station, Consolidated, Georgetown, and Cedar Park, with all 4 teams 5-2 and all 4 teams 1-2 against the other 3. So the tiebreaker would slide all the way to point differential for each team against the other three. That would decide the seeding order for the playoffs. College Station at the moment is at plus 16. Consolidated is at plus 7. Those two don't play anybody else in the mix, so those numbers won't change. Georgetown right now is at minus 3. Right now we're at minus 20. So not only do we need to beat Georgetown to stay out of the 4 seed, climb up to 3, but we need to beat them by as wide a margin as possible. In fact, we can pass them for the 3 seed if we beat them by 9 or more. That would put them at minus 12 and us at minus 11. Again, College Station's and Consolidated's point differential figures won't change. To pass them all for the number 1 seed, that would happen if we beat Georgetown by 37 or more. Now, that sounds like a tall order, but that has actually happened 4 times through the years that we have beaten Georgetown by 37 or more. There'll be no taking a knee if we're up by 17 at their 9-yard line with 45 seconds to go this week. We will need every point possible. So you're saying there's a chance. This is actually an amazing development. It really says a lot about how our team has improved through a generally trying season. Again, starting 0-3, especially the first 2 games looking really ragged. But then we kind of all think we should have beat Round Rock. That could have been a win right there. Let's say we win that one and we're 1-2. Then we beat Hendricks, or was it Hendricks? No, it was Eastview pretty badly. Then we go on the road twice to College Station and A&M Consolidated. Should have won the A&M Consolidated game. Missed a wide open touchdown at the end of the first half. Ended up losing by a field goal at the end of the game, 13-10. We could have won 17-10. They wouldn't have been kicking a field goal at the end of the game. That would have made us 3-2. The next week, the defense plays one of its best games of the year and holds 4th-ranked team in the state, College Station, to just 10 points. But the offense didn't show up at all, and we got shut out. Get average offense in that game, we win that one too. That would have made us 4-2 at that time. We've won 3 in a row since. We'd be sitting here at 7-2 if a couple of things changed in the Round Rock game and in the 2 road trips to College Station. So this team is on the cusp of being a good team. I wouldn't say they are a good team right now, but they are a team that has become a really tough out, playing as well as they have all year, got a shot still at a share of the district title, and I just find that fascinating. So here's our State of the Program update. The all-time record for Cedar Park football now, 213 wins and 82 losses. Add that up, it's 295 games played all-time. So 296 will be Georgetown, 297 will be the first round of the playoffs. Somewhere coming up close. We'd have to go 4 rounds deep in the playoffs this year, make the regional finals to play our 300th game this year. But soon next year, at least, we'll be playing the program's 300th game. And they are now 113-36 in district games all these years. That's amazing. 113-36. Also, this was the program's 100th home win all time, and it makes the record at the GUP 66-8. And they're 39-9 in games against other LISD teams all time, and we've not lost to Leander now since 2007. 11 straight wins over the Lions. And in all games ever played at LISD's 4 stadiums over the years, it's Old Bible, New Bible, Monroe, and GUP, Cedar Park is now 114-34. And in the 3 current stadiums, 82-13. All of those numbers can leave you gasping if you think about them too long. All right, a post-mortem of the Leander game. That wheezing, gurgling, smelly bag of glop lying on the 37-yard line after the game Friday night was the bejesus that Leander had knocked out of them by Cedar Park in the 17th Crosstown Chowdown, won for the 11th consecutive time by the Timberwolves, 35-0. Cedar Park beat Leander like a dirty rug, stole their lunch money and threw their shoes into the river, left them by the side of the road for dead. Felt like the old days. And in so doing, claimed the program's 100th home win all time, as well as their 15th consecutive playoff berth. Since it was going to be a shutout, This one was over early. Just a minute 22 into the game, Tyree Nicholson rumbled over from the 4, and Andrew Gagary's kick made it 7-0 Timberwolves. Leander had tried an onside kick to open the game, and Cedar Park covered it. 3 plays later came Nicholson's touchdown, and the fastest first score for Cedar Park this season. The Timberwolves would only punt twice this night as the offense really got lubed up, rushing for a season-high 183 yards on 37 carries for a very healthy 4.95 yard per carry average, and throwing for 215 yards using 3 quarterbacks. The team's 24 first downs tie for the most this season. With 1:26 left in the first, Jaden Gallego zipped in from the 8, and Jiggy's kick made it 14-0. 4.5 minutes later, Aiden Arp took it in himself from the 5, and it was 21-0. First half scoring was capped off with 23 seconds left when Nicholson got his second touchdown of the night on a 1-yard dive. At this point, the Black Rain had held Leander to all of 12 yards of total offense. It was 28-0 at the half, with a big challenge after halftime, of course, being how to keep everybody paying attention. There was only one other scoring play, and that came with 1:23 left in the third when Arp hit Gavin Chapa, cutting across the field at about the 25, and Chapa took it the rest of the way for a 43-yard touchdown, 35-0. The fourth quarter saw continued Black Rain dominance and a chance for Cedar Park to get all their seniors into the game, and everyone else for that matter. Another very fine overall passing grade for the team this week. The defense with its most impressive game statistically. The offense with one of their top games as well. Special teams were solid. This team just seems to get a little bit better every week. Now, we had a problem with the stats last week on the post-game show, and I promised I'd give them to you in lieu of that on tonight's show. So here they are. First down, Cedar Park 24, Leander 10. Rushing. Now, officially, the rushing numbers are less than I told you a minute ago because it's a sad stat fact that we got to take sacks out of rushing yards instead of logically passing yards where they ought to come out of. So officially, we're 41 for 160. And realistically, we're looking at that, and it's 37 rushing plays for 187 rushing yards. Leander was 26 carries, 16 yards. 0.62 yards per carry for the Lions on the night. Passing, our 3 quarterbacks went 70 for 22, 1 pick, and a touchdown for 215 yards. 77.3 completion percentage, one of our best throwing nights of the season in that figure. And in this one, too, yards per attempt, 9.77. Leander went 14 for 25, 1 pick, 99 yards. 56% completions. 3.96 yards per attempt. Total offense, Cedar Park, 375. Leander, 115. Punts, we punted twice for a 35 average. They punted 4 times for a 36-yard average. Penalties. This is always kind of interesting to look at. We figured out a long time ago, I was talking with Carl Abzek about it a couple seasons ago, for whatever reason, when we get a lot of penalties and a lot of penalty yards, we kick somebody's butt. I don't know why. A lot of times we have very few penalties. Like we had no penalties against College Station. We got shut out. We got our butt kicked. A lot of times we have no penalties to 3 or 4. For whatever reason, we get our butt kicked. And if we have a lot of penalties, we kick somebody else's butt. The only thing we can figure out, as Carl Abzek and I were talking about this, is that most penalties are penalties of aggression. And those 12 or 15 penalty plays of aggression throughout a night and its 165 plays, pretty much all 165 plays have a lot of aggression in them. And that aggressiveness spread out over the rest of the game amounts to a win, a kick-ass kind of win. And that's why we see that. That's kind of what we believe. So we're no longer worried about getting a lot of penalties in the game because it usually means we're kicking somebody's butt. Now we look at rushing. Aiden Arp had 6 carries for 29 yards and a 5-yard touchdown. Most of that in the first half. Only had 1 carry for 5 in the second. Tyree Nicholson, his best night. 19 for 91 and 2 touchdowns. Nearly all that work done in the first half as we subbed most of the second half. That's why we only outscored him 7-0 in the second half. He only had 11 yards and 2 carries in the second half. Jaden Gallego was another good night for him. 9 for 48 and a touchdown. Most of his yards were in the second half as he filled in for Tyree. Gavin Chapa, a carry but didn't gain anything. Aiden Long at quarterback ran twice for 15 yards, a 7.5 average. We did have 4 sacks for 23 lost yardage in sack. Arp throwing his best night percentage-wise. 15 for 19, 1 pick and a 43-yard touchdown, 175 yards, 79% completion, 9.21 yards per attempt. Aiden Long, 2 for 2, 40 yards. Blake Pedani, 0 for 1, unfortunately. He had a pass that was completed for about 42 yards up the left sideline near the end, and it was called back for some ridiculous penalty. So robbed Blake of a completion. Receiving-wise, Carter Wohl, 2 for 13. Jackson Brock, 2 for 20. Tyree Nicholson, a couple of catches for 11. Blake Suber, a good night for him, number 15. He was 5 for 80. 19-yard catch, 13-yard, 12-yard, 34 yards. Big yardage coming when we throw to Blake Suber. But Gavin Choppa had the best night. 6 catches for 91 yards and a 43-yard touchdown. Those are your stats for the other night. Now look at the impact this game had on our school record book. Aiden Arp climbs from 25th to 20th on the list of all-time career total offense, and he passes Drew Russo, Chris Hutchings, Bill Estevanot, Hayden Craig, Thomas Middleton. I know Craig and Steve were in the audience, and I remember all those names. The 4 sacks suffered by Arp ties last week for the most sacks suffered in a Cedar Park win. That's a bad mark that we need to stop making. Arp's completion rate of 79% marks the 17th most accurate passing night in Cedar Park's nearly 300-game history. And now with 543 career receiving yards, Gavin Choppa climbs from 34th to 26th on our career receiving yards list. In this game, passing, here's some more names you guys remember. Brant McDonald, Tristan Hervey, Tyler Forrest, Carter Wohl, Nathan Harwell, Davis Fiala, Trevor Mugito, and Joseph Washington. The 160 team rushing yards was the second most of the season, and the most of the season if we didn't have to track sack yardage as rushing yardage. The 24 first downs tied the Eastview and Cedar Ridge games for the most by the offense in a game this season. The 115 yards of total offense allowed Leander is the least allowed this season, and the 16th fewest ever. That's 295 games. 16th fewest ever allowed in one game in program history. Black Rain is doing the job at a superb level. The 28 yards of offense allowed Leander in the first half was the fewest in a half this season and the 21st fewest ever in one half out of nearly 600 halves in program history. The 16 rushing yards allowed Leander are the 13th fewest ever in one game in program history and the fewest this season. This was the 32nd shutout in program history and the first since 2020. It was the second shutout of Leander. We beat them 10-0 when they were undefeated and ranked number 9 in 2005. The 4-yard touchdown run by Tyree Nicholson, just 1:22 into the game, was the program's 18th quickest scoring play ever in almost 300 games. All right, let's look at some of the other scores around the neighborhood of Central Texas. Westlake 45, Bowie nothing. It's not a surprise that Westlake wins that. It's a surprise that it's 45-0. Bowie had been running up scores like that on nearly everybody they've played this year. I thought this was going to be a football game, and it wasn't. Buda Johnson 61, Aikens 7. Could be predicted. Lake Travis, it's off the schneid. They went into this game 4-4. They beat Austin High 55-7, but then who doesn't? Vandegrift over Vista Ridge 34-0. Bryan 53, Hutto 34. Dripping Springs 66, Del Valle 7. Weiss 49, Waco Midway 21. Manor 44, Westwood 9. Round Rock, game of two teams that beat us, 48, Cedar Ridge 21. Stony Point 28, McNeil 21. LBJ 96. Johnston nothing. I guess defense was not allowed by Johnston in that game. Waco University 78, Connolly 7. So many wipeout scores this year. McCallum 55, Travis 13. Liberty Hill 61, Bastrop 7. More wipeouts. Crockett 42, Reagan 21. Lanier 29, Austin Lassa 19. Lampasas 42, Mabel Falls 20. And Wimberley 31, Lago Vista 28. All right, in the category of all our exes coaching Texas, Brad Willard coaching Mount Vernon. Great season again this year, but they had a bye this week, so no game there. Heal some hurt guys. I know he's got a hurt quarterback. Maybe he can get him back for next week. Prosper, Brandon Smith's team up there, and a state-ranked 6A team now, over Allen. A multi-time state champ, holder of the biggest high school stadium in the country, Allen. Beat him 29-24. Good job, Brandon Smith. Lucas Lovejoy, Chris Ross over Greenville, 63-13. Excuse me. Got a little something in my throat. May have to do that again here in a minute. Josh Mann's Rouse team over Peeville, 45-7. Tyler Legacy of Joe Willis, 31, North Forney, 24. And then a couple of losses to round it out. Nick Rogers' San Antonio Peeper Piper team, 35, Lockhart, 61. The Carl Amtest team lost again. Barbara Seal, they lost to Port Arthur Memorial, 21-7. So our guys went 4-2. And as I said, if you count Michael Quintero as a former coach of ours, which he is, now a head coach of ours, which he is, we're 5-2 last week. Now let's take a look at 11-5A D1 scores from last week, and pardon me as I clear my throat again. Take a drink of my Arnold Palmer here. I just discovered the Arnold Palmer drink a couple of years ago. For some reason, I'm not a golfer, hadn't heard of it before. It's just lemonade and sweet tea. I love it. That wets my whistle. All right, District 11-5A scores last week. Georgetown 28, Glenn 22. I went to this game. Glenn could have won this game. They were up 14-0 early. Georgetown had trouble with the slot tee all game long. Glenn had trouble with Georgetown's offense. Well, no, they didn't. They had trouble with number 2. If we cover number 2, who was open all night long and caught 4 touchdown passes, we're going to win this game Friday. Georgetown 28, 2 touchdowns in the second, 2 touchdowns in the fourth. Those come on 4 consecutive possessions. Before that and after that, they had 12 yards of total offense on the night. Glenn almost won it at the very end. College Station 38, Consolidated 28. That was the battle for first place, Consolidated being undefeated at the time, College Station with 1 loss. But it turned out the way I expected. When we played those 2 teams, College Station to me seemed to be the more solid of the 2 teams. And then Hendrickson 50, Eastview 8. So again, Hendrickson, they're scoring a lot of points the last month or so. They got a shot to win that game. We need them to win Friday night. Here are the 11-5A standings. We kind of looked at this earlier. Consolidated, College Station, Georgetown all tie at the top at 5-1. We're in 4th at 4-2. Glenn's out of the money at 3-3. Hendrickson out of the money at 2-4. Leander and Eastview both at 0-6. And here are the games. The other teams in District 11-5A this week. We talked about 2 of them already. The one that doesn't matter is 0-9 and 0-6 Eastview at the book, playing Leander, who's 3-6 and 0-6. Whoever loses that game gets a first-round draft choice, I guess, for next year. Then Glenn 5-4 and 3-3. Excuse me, at Consolidated 7-2 and 5-1. We need Glenn to come through in that one. College Station 7-2 and 5-1. At Hendrickson 3-6 and 2-4, but won 2 of their last 3. All right, here are the results for our opponent this week, Georgetown. We've been tracking this every year, right prior to the next opponent. They beat 2-7 Copperas Cove, 38-14. They beat 5-4 Vista Ridge, 41-27. Lost to 8-1 Liberty Hill, 49-35. Lost to 8-1 A&M Consolidated, 48-34. That's losing to them worse than we did. They beat 3-6 Hendrickson, 70-28. It's about the same point margin we had. Beat 3-6 Leander, 70-16. Better point margin than we had. They beat 0-9 Eastview, 59-19, which wasn't as good as us. And they beat 7-2 College Station, 49-38, something we didn't do. They have beaten just 2 teams with a winning record, Vista Ridge and CSTAC. They've lost by multiple touchdowns to any other team they've played that has a winning record. They've given up a lot of points. So they are the worst defense in the league. That's exactly who our offense needs to see this week. And now that we're just 3 days away from the end of the regular season, let's look at possible playoff matchups. As District 11-5A, we'll play teams from 12-5A in the first round. Here, their current district standings: Smithson Valley on top at 6-0, 8-1 overall. Canyon, Wagner, Seguin all have 1 loss. Hayes has 4, so they're out of it. Their 4 playoff teams are set too. Seguin, Wagner, Canyon, Smithson Valley. the order could be jumbled up. They could end up in a four-way tie as well. Hayes, Bernie Champion, San Antonio, MacArthur, and Lehman are all out of it. Smithson Valley looks dangerous. They've only given up 76 points all year, only 29 in districts, scored 330. They are a state-ranked team. If we don't win by, what was the number I was giving up there? 9 points or something like that? What was it we need to win by? Oh, let me look back up there real quick. If we don't beat Georgetown by, I think I got to go up here pretty far to find this. Oh, where is it? I had it up here somewhere. Where I can't find it all of a sudden. We need to beat them by something team to not be in the 4 seed. If we're in the 4 seed, we're probably playing Smithson Valley on the road at Smithson Valley. They will probably be the best team we have played all year, except maybe Vandergrift. So we need to score some points on that Georgetown worst defense in the district so that we can climb into the number 3 spot and play one of those other 3 teams instead. Here are this week's 12 5A games. New Braunfels Canyon, 8-1, 5-1 at San Antonio Wagner. They are 7-3 and 5-1, so that'll settle out one of the positions. Playoff team. Seguin 6-2 and 5-1. It should be 7-2 and 5-1. They are at Smithson Valley, who's 8-1, 6-0. Seguin's tough, but I think it's at Smithson Valley, and they will win that game and take the district title. Bernie Champion 3-6, 1-5 at San Antonio MacArthur. They're not very good. Hayes not very good. At Lehman, they're not very good. All right, this is the point in the show where we go to see the wonderful Willard of Oz, but we are not going to do that. We're going to give Josh, if he gets here in a little while, we might give him a chance to do that a little bit later, so we're going to take a short break. When we return, our guests, the trainers, so stick around. You're listening to Timberwolf Night in America, live from Alzer's Barbecue in the heart of Cedar Park, right here on the Vype Live Network.
You know the Alzer family. They've been involved in Cedar Park sports for years, just as Alzer's Barbecue has been involved in Cedar Park cuisine for years. It's one-of-a-kind, authentic Texas barbecue. Brisket, turkey, chicken, lamb, terrific sides and sauces. It's sheer succulence. That's Alzer's Barbecue, next to the CVS on Cypress Creek Road, just west of Old 183.
Army Ant Moving calls Cedar Park home. They are Cedar Park movers that you can count on. Army Ant Moving stands above the rest. Their reputation speaks for itself. They've received the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 2 years. Their staff is professionally trained and certified, so you can be assured that your cherished household possessions are in good hands, whether you're leaving, arriving, or just relocating to the Cedar Park area. Call them today for a fast, free, and competitive moving quote at 800-497-5828.
A premier real estate brokerage in Central Texas, Mungia Real Estate's innovative buy-sell process results in their listings selling faster than the Austin average. Their attention to clients sets Mungia apart from other brokerages, with creative marketing strategies, savvy negotiation skills, and a commitment to hard work and excellent customer service. Whether it's residential, single-family, multifamily, condos, commercial, or vacant land, Mungia Real Estate knows the Austin market and connects buyers with sellers every day. And they do it with professionalism. Mungia Real Estate at 512-922-4267 or mungiarealestate.com. That's MUNGIA.
As the #1 Ford volume dealer in Central Texas, Covert Ford has hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. They can even assist you with custom ordering your dream car, truck, or SUV. Since 1909, when you shop at Covert Ford, you're more than just a customer. You're part of the Covert Ford family. Visit covertford.com or stop in for a test drive to experience the Covert commitment to excellence.
#1 volume sales dealer in Austin based on total new retail sales. Ford Report 2021, Austin, Texas, Metro Market.
At Sewell, building relationships, not selling cars and trucks, is our first priority, and it has been for more than a century. Customers for life. That is our aim. Generations of customers have bought their vehicles from our dealerships. The secret is in how we treat others and each other. Sewell is still the family-owned business it always has been. You never get the feeling that it's just business. A sense of family and the importance of long-term relationships always come through. You can experience our service in the Austin area at Sewell Land Rover and Jaguar at 13910-620, just a mile east of 183.
Anybody know the words to the fight song? I know the last 4 words of the school song, like everybody does. Anybody ever heard the... Who knows? I know we stole it from the University of Kansas. We sound better than they do when we play. All right, welcome back to episode 11 of Timberwolf Night in America for 2022, live from Alzer's Barbecue here in Cedar Park. I'm Brad Cohn. Maybe joined in a little bit by Josh Williams, running late tonight. Had a blowout in traffic down by the airport. Daniel Garrigan, our QA tonight from out in the studio here on the Vype Live Network. Now our first guest tonight. Again, David Bowman couldn't make it, the head trainer, but we've got his minions here. The first minion, the lead minion, is Cabrina Bowman. That's a familiar first name, Cabrina. How did you get a name like that?
My parents gave it to me. Named after my aunts, you know.
I know knew your aunt, Katrina. Carissa. Yes, I didn't know that well, right? Been a long time. Yeah, she was a class behind me in high school. The same high school I went to, was in a biology class of mine or something. We sat at the same lab table. And I talked to her many times, and then found out that the guy who was our trainer at the high school I was working with years later was her brother. What do you know?
Yeah.
Katrina. Don't tell her I say that.
I won't.
Larissa. So, was it fate that you, a Bowman, are going to be a trainer or not?
It was more my decision, but, I enjoy it. I have fun with it.
What's your favorite part of it?
I really enjoy setting up headsets.
Yeah, I see you up in the press boxes every time we're setting up ours, and you're right next door setting up the coaches. Now, has that always gone smooth?
No, I can
tell us your biggest horror story with that.
It was actually a Gupton. The satellite fell a few feet, like down off the railing.
Yeah.
Into the stands before the game. So that was probably the worst of it.
So you got it repaired though before the game started?
Yeah, we just had to screw it in a little bit more and just tie it down a little tighter in.
Well, that's not too bad a horror story.
No, it just
did you get yelled at it for not securing it right or anything like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Now, you got a couple of brothers that were trainers, too, and I understand they went on an extended golfing outing in Nebraska or something like that. How are they doing?
Yeah, they're good. They're both working at golf courses now.
Oh, where at?
One's at Austin Country Club, and one's at Twin Creeks, right over there.
Back home?
Mm-hmm.
How long have they been back home?
A few months, and one's been around for a year, and the other one's back from a few months ago. He graduated a few months ago.
Wow, it didn't seem like it was already like 4 or 5 years ago that they spent 4 years as a trainer, but I guess so. I guess they're doing all right. Yeah. So what are you a senior? Mm-hmm. So what are your plans?
College next year.
You know where?
No, not yet. I haven't gotten back from any of the colleges yet.
So you've been applying places. Mm-hmm. What field of study are you interested in?
Education.
Oh, you're going to be a teacher or some other field in education? You're going to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. What do you like to teach, and what age do you like to teach to the kids?
I want to teach high school, but that might change. But so far right now it's high school English. English in high school. Mm-hmm.
Do you get to, like, as a rookie teacher, start out in high school, or are they going to send you to 3rd grade first and make you work your way up?
I hope not.
I don't know either. I always wondered about that. Sure. I thought at one time of being like a history or government teacher, but no offense to the non-seniors here. The only kids I thought I could stand were the high school seniors. That's the only one I want to teach, and I knew they were going to start me out there, so no, I'll go do something else. Yeah. Well, that's good. What schools have you applied to?
Oklahoma State, Texas State, and Texas A&M Kingsville, where my parents went.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite moment being a trainer in Cedar Park?
Just the games. I really enjoy, like, the community of trainers, and I really like talking to all of us on the sideline.
Ah, that's good. And all the camaraderie. Yep, mm-hmm. That's a good thing to have. All right, Cabrina, thanks. Cabrina Bowman, the head minion.
Right.
And she's going to give the headset now over to Bethany Zitrer. Am I saying that right, Bethany? Zitrer, or is that different?
Yeah, you're saying it right.
Zitrer. Hey,
Yeah,
I guessed right. Do I say that right when I introduce you guys in the stadium?
Maybe. I don't know. Don't remember.
Well, from now on I will. Well, no, wait, you're a senior too, right?
I am a senior, yes.
So I won't be introducing you anymore.
No.
But
My
you've
sister.
got a sister here. I'll be saying it right for her at least.
Yeah.
So, senior, what's your favorite moment all these years of doing this?
I agree with Kabrina. Setting up headsets with her, I think that's one of the most fun parts, and just being on the field.
So, what do you do when you're on the field? Wait for somebody to get hurt? What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, we're on the sidelines. We're handing out water. We're making sure everyone's hydrated and safe, not bleeding everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
Especially in the white jerseys.
Oh, yeah. Maybe putting some bandages on, staph infection scabs on that artificial turf, right?
Oh, yeah, all the stuff.
Oh, man. So, what is your least favorite experience having done this for 4 years?
I don't know. Probably when I get thrown up on. I don't like that.
When you get thrown up on?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was something that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Without a warning, just a full speed blorch and you're nearby, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Especially during cross country meets.
Wow. All right, so name some names. Who was the last person to throw up on you? Got to do it. It's probably been on this show.
Yeah.
All right, who was it?
Fetchy.
Who?
Fetchy.
Who?
Fetchy. Josh Fetchy.
Oh, Josh Petchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he knew, though.
Oh, man. And had you eaten recently?
Me or him?
Him.
Yeah.
And had you?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a
boy.
game.
Oh, boy. I got a friend of mine who can't take people throwing up, like his own daughter will throw up, and he immediately throws up, too.
Oh.
Was that something that happened to you? Good,
No,
good.
No, I'm not sensitive.
Good. Oh, my gosh. So what are your plans after high school?
I don't know. I'm probably going to go to ACC and get, like, basic classes out of the way.
So I haven't decided yet, really?
Yeah,
Just going to get the
haven't
basics out of the way? Yeah, I was a toss-up when I was at this point in my senior year, too, so I decided in the spring. So what kind of field are you interested in as a career? Have you even thought about that yet?
Somewhere in the medical field, for
Ah,
sure. Yeah.
good. We need more of that's for sure. And those pay pretty well, too.
Yeah, true.
We need to do that. I'm going to ask you a very important question.
Yeah, what's up?
Amongst all the Minions,
Yeah.
who is the best singer?
The best singer? Yeah, definitely Avery,
Avery.
for sure.
Avery Mellon. She's due up next. We'll
She is up next.
we'll
Make
have her.
sing.
Pick Avery a. Go ahead and pick while you're waiting. Something you can do a cappella for us here in a second. Best singer is Avery Mellon. Who's the worst singer?
For sure, Lucy. Lucy's the worst.
All right. What is your favorite class in Cedar Park High School right now? And then your least favorite?
My favorite class right now? I don't know. And my least favorite is definitely government. I'm just really bad at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite would probably be ceramics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I liked government though. That was one of my favorite classes.
I'm really bad at memorization.
Anybody want to give a shout out to?
My teacher. I love my teacher, Miss Fortenberry.
Is that the ceramics teacher?
No, that's my government teacher.
Government teacher.
Yeah.
You got to put that in since you said it was your least favorite class. I got it.
yeah.
Got to do that. Little balance there. All right, thanks. That's Bethany Zitrer,
Yeah.
senior trainer. Next up is Avery Mellon, the best singer among the Minions, who are the trainers. So Avery, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. Now you were on last year too, right? Did they name you best singer last year?
No.
Oh, well, you've been improving your singing. Yeah,
I guess, yeah.
Now you're a senior?
Yes.
What are your plans for post Cedar Park?
Probably going to college. So that's
Any
good.
particular field of study?
Pathology.
Pathology? What kind of pathology? Like medical pathology?
Like, I guess so. Yeah, with the autopsies.
Oh, interesting.
And stuff. Yeah.
Man, I bet you can put out some pretty good Halloween decorations. What's your favorite class at Cedar Park now?
Probably sports med. because
Yeah,
it's
sure.
just like the one where I can socialize the most.
Which one do you dislike the most?
Math. I'm really not good at math.
I was that way too. I was a straight A student. I got a B in math.
Yeah.
Didn't like shoving numbers against each other for the hell of it. I don't mind using math to solve problems. A navigation issue. You use trigonometry and other things. I don't mind that. I hated seeing a sheet of 155 multiplication equations.
Yeah.
And just shoving numbers against each other for the sake of shoving numbers. Hated that. It's good to be good at math. So, do you have anything you can sing for us?
No, I'm not going to sing.
No.
That's okay. No, I don't want to sing.
What about the national anthem?
One time I did sing the national anthem
Oh, you
in
did?
second grade for a talent show.
For a talent show? Did you win the talent show?
There was no prize, but it was for fun.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, she probably can't sing. No wonder they think you can sing. You probably sing around the locker room and that sort of thing, huh?
No.
No. Well, how do they know you're the best singer?
I
She
sing
sings
in her
in the car. Okay,
yes.
okay. Play accompaniment with the radio. All right, Avery. Thanks. You got some shout outs you want to give?
Miss Axe. She's my English teacher.
English teacher, Miss
Yeah.
Axe. All right.
She's
Good
my
deal.
favorite.
Any other friends you want to give shout outs to?
No. That's it.
All right. Thanks a lot. Wait, one more question I want to ask you. What is your favorite moment as a trainer?
I like the games. The games are really fun. I like, because I'm the basketball trainer this year, I like being at the basketball games too.
I'll be there too. I've seen you there before.
Yeah.
All right. There's Avery Mellon, our third guest, and she's going to give the headset away now to Scarlett Dennis, guest number 4. At that point, we'll be about halfway through if you're keeping track. Go ahead. There you go. All right, say something there.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay.
Scarlett, you're not a senior?
No, I'm a junior.
A junior?
Yes, sir.
So you got a little ways to make decisions yet. Have you been thinking about things?
Oh, I already know what I'm going to do.
All right, what is it?
I'm going to be, the technical term is emergency room physician.
Oh.
But I'm going to be an ER doctor.
Wow. Where are you going to go to medical school?
Wherever accepts me.
There's a million of them. Now, what's steering you that way? Is there a parent who's in the medical profession or anything like that?
No. I can't handle boring. And I feel like an office job is so boring.
You're right.
And so I want to do
one.
something that's you never know what's going to happen. Like with an emergency room, you never know what's going to walk through the door.
All right. Scarlett Dennis, adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I like ziplining.
All right. You ever jump out of a plane?
No, that's on my bucket list.
On your list?
Yeah, no one will do it with me.
I'll go with you.
Heck yeah!
It's on my list too. So Scarlett, what is your favorite thing to do as a trainer? I know you all got a lot of duties. Some people are setting up like these two are setting up the headsets upstairs. What do you do prior to the game? What do you do during the game?
So prior to the game, I set up the medical injury tent. So if an injury gets a player gets injured and it's really
a femur sticking out.
Yeah, something like that. Then they have to go in the tent, and so I set that up, and then I just hang out while they do their before game practice, and then give them water, make sure that they don't cramp, because that happens a lot, and it's really annoying.
We see that a lot from upstairs, cramping
so
and water, stretching things out, and that's a bane on football. That and concussions, I guess.
Yeah.
What are your duties as trainer if looks like this guy has a concussion, and then who pronounces that? Is it Bowman? Is it David Bowman that says, well, this looks like a concussion, and then what do you do?
Well, so if someone comes up to me and is like, hey, my head hurts, I'm spinning, concussion signs, I call Bowman. And then Bowman is like, yeah, that's what it sounds like, but they have to go to an actual physician to get an actual evaluation, and then Bowman is like, all right, let's treat you.
Take you out, yeah. And somebody comes over to you and says, are we in Nevada? All kinds of signs of concussions, I guess.
So many.
All right, Avery, you got anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Who's Avery?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not me.
Read the wrong line. Scarlett. I like the name Scarlett, by the way.
Thanks.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
No.
No. Not a good teacher?
No.
Who's your favorite teacher?
Well, I like Mr. Babbage and Mr. Marsh.
Who's your least favorite teacher?
Okay, my least favorite teacher is Miss Garza because she's my first period math teacher, and she is so monotone and like I'm just like, you're gonna make me fall asleep in this class, and I can't have that.
Had one of those too.
Yeah, no, they're the worst.
Everybody open your book at page 23. We're going to study Pythagoras' theorem today, and we're going to have a test on it Friday.
Yes, and she's like super like quiet too, so like I literally just, and I sit in the corner, so I just take naps.
All right, Scarlett, one more question.
All right.
Who's the best dancer among the minions?
Avery.
Avery, singing and dancing. We're going to have her back.
She used to do Just Dance a lot, so...
Now, does she dance in your car, too? You said she sings in your car.
Yes, she does.
All right. All right, Scarlett, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Good visit with you. We'll, if we could have you hand that over to Lucy Zitrer now.
Lucy Zitrer.
Thanks. That was Scarlett, although I erroneously called her Avery one time. She asked who's Avery, but I think she knows who Avery is. I think she knows.
I would hope so.
All right. Lucy Zitrer, and look, you'll look a lot like your sister. You get that, I'm sure, a lot.
I do get asked if we're twins many times.
Yeah? Yeah, I can see that question. I had two daughters that were only 14 months apart. They got that question all through CPHS. Teachers would ask it, too. And do you all look more like one parent or the other, or a pretty good mix?
I look like my dad, and she just looks like me.
She looks like you.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. She looks like you. She copied you.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Sounds like something my brother would say. So, Lucy, so she's a trainer and has been it for a while. You come in, you're a freshman.
Yes.
You're a trainer. Did that influence your decision? Did she talk you? This is fun. You ought to come do this, or were there other reasons?
Actually, she forced me to.
She forced you to.
Yeah.
Had a gun.
Yeah. Like gunpoint. Like she forced me to. I didn't have a choice.
Dragged you with your arm behind your back.
Yeah. I like
flew you down on the floor in front of Bowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly how it happened. I think I have it on video too.
So what do you like about it?
I actually really like the game settings and how everyone kind of works together to build the sideline and then break it apart every Friday night.
Now, football players or players of any sport spend a heck of a lot of time working on their games outside of when they're actually playing their games, doing practice.
Yeah.
The trainers, do you all have something like trainer practice or not?
We just go to every single practice. So I guess their practices are ours, yeah.
Well, you're actually having to do your job during their practice, too. So I guess what I'm asking is, so you're a freshman, you come on, you're a trainer for the very first time, your first day, your first hour, your first minute of the job.
Yeah.
How do you know what to do? I mean, what is...
Well, before it starts, we have an orientation, like a week before practice starts, and it's 3 days and only like 2 hours each day. And then that's where they teach us all the basics of sports medicine, and then first practice, they kind of just throw us at it and say, good luck.
Good luck. I'll yell at you if it's bad luck.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Now, Bowman is famous for yelling at people for various things. It's kind of fun for us who aren't being yelled at to watch him yell at one of you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not when you're the object of his derision. Is that true?
It's not fun being on the bad side of the yelling, but it is really entertaining to watch. Later
you can laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Or you can laugh if he's yelling at Avery or Scarlett, you can laugh, right?
Yeah, especially if it's Bethany. Then I laugh.
Well, I notice he always throws a bunch of zingers in there, too. Like he's almost trying to get you to laugh, even though he's mad at you for not doing something right. He'll throw something in there that makes you laugh. He is one of the more, during the banquets, he's one of the more entertaining guys who get up there and talk about his people. But you can also tell that he loves every one of you.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets really emotional talking about his seniors and stuff, and we all really appreciate that. So you're going to stick it for the next 3 years, 3.5 years?
I am.
Good. Well, we'll see you out there for a while there. Okay, I got a good question for you, too. Amongst the minions, who's the best liar?
Probably Karina. She keeps a lot of secrets.
Ah, okay. We'll ask her some of them when she gets up here. You got anybody want to give a shout out to?
No.
No.
Maybe just all the polite players.
All the polite players.
Yeah.
What? There's like 5 of those, or what?
Well, one of the main polite players is Mooney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, good. He doesn't throw up on people, probably.
Nah, he's fine.
All right, Mooney gets the shout out from Lucy Zutrer. Thanks, Lucy. If you'll go ahead and give that headset off to Reagan Burns. Reagan, you're up next here on The Price is Right. I think we're probably through all the seniors now, right? You're not a senior, are you?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman again. So I'll ask you the same kind of question. What made you look at this program and think, I want to go do that?
Both my brothers used to be in football, so I learned about it, and then I've always wanted to work in the medical field.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What are your primary pregame and during game duties then?
Well, we set up the whole sideline for football games, and we have to fill up water, and then we help try on coaches' headsets and make sure they work.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So are you upstairs also, too?
I'm not.
Oh, you're downstairs trying those headsets on, talking to those who are upstairs with me. Okay, I got you. Because I don't recognize you. I recognize a lot of these girls. But what's been your favorite moment so far this season doing the training function?
I just really like Friday football games. Varsity football games are really fun to work, especially when we're winning.
Have you had a moment that you wish had never happened?
Probably not.
Not yet. It's coming.
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay. Good deal. What's your favorite class?
Sports med.
Well, good choice. What's your least favorite?
Biology, because the people in my class are always way too loud.
Ah. So maybe it's not the class. You don't like that particular class full of kids, right? Biology maybe not be so bad if you're with people who are paying attention like you want to.
Yeah.
You thought about, you got a lot of time to go, but have you thought about an avocation and what you want to study in college and go on and make a living doing?
I want to be a hematologist oncologist.
Wow. I think that's a first. All these years we asking players and other people that, we haven't had anybody say that. A hematologist oncologist. That's outstanding. Again, a profession like that, I got to ask, what steers you that direction here as a 9th grader? Do you have a parent who's in a medical field or something?
No, I have always been interested in the medical field, and then a lot of people in my family have had cancer, like people around my family.
Yeah.
So it kind of like steered me towards oncology, and then hematology also seems really cool.
Well, I remember being dumb enough when I was a freshman in high school, when I first heard about an oncologist, I thought that was a doctor who was on call. So that's about where I come from. All right, another question for you, another important question. Who's the best actor among the Minions?
Probably Cabrina.
Cabrina, the best actor.
Just because whenever she's mad, she can play it off like she's cool.
That sounds pretty good. So is this something that you're having enough fun and it's interesting enough that you're going to stick with it for 3 more years?
I plan
like
on
Lucy?
sticking with it.
Good, good. And we'll keep seeing you out there. You can do other sports too?
I'm doing girls soccer after this.
Girls soccer. Are you going to be doing baseball at all?
Nope.
Nope. All right, Reagan Burns, you got anybody to give a shout out to?
The nice players and probably my friends.
The nice players and your friends. Do they know who they are? You don't have to say any names?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. There's Reagan Burns. Guest number 6. We got 2 more to go. Reagan, you give that over to Karina. Oh, 1 more to go.
Hello.
Hello. Karina Soto.
Yes.
And what class are you?
I'm freshman.
Freshman. So we got freshmen and seniors here, right? Did we have any junior? We had one
we had
junior.
one junior.
No sophomores. So I'm going to ask that same question. How did you get steered into this program as a 9th grader?
I had art class with Lucy, and she was the one that introduced it to me. I had no clue what it was. She's like, hey, you should join this in high school. I was like,
I need something to do with my time.
yeah.
And you get good seats for the football game.
Yeah.
So you liking what you're doing so far?
Yeah, I really do like this. It's a lot of fun.
What do they have you doing mostly before games and during games?
Exactly what freshmen are doing. We're setting up sideline, water, making sure we have our water jugs filled for the rest of the game, make sure headsets are working, everything.
So is it everybody who, there's a timeout and I see trainer minions going out with water jugs. Does everybody kind of do that at one time or another, or is it only a certain group?
No, it's only a certain group that goes out there that stays on the sideline, and then there's a group that stays by the water table and that takes water to the benches.
Okay, who goes out on the field?
Avery, Scarlett, Cabrina, and Bethany all go on the field.
All right. Now, is that like a sought-after job, and if you're an upperclassman, you're more likely to get that?
It's an upperclassman thing.
Ah, cool. It's neat. Got a little pecking order going on.
Yeah.
So what do you like doing the most as a trainer?
I like games a lot. They're a lot of fun. Fridays.
And do you yet have a moment that you wish had never happened? It's okay if you did. These are kind of fun.
Cross country meet, the only one that we have to go to for the entire year.
Yeah.
I'm a person that cannot do throw up.
Oh,
so
okay.
That was not
and somebody
fun.
did. Probably a lot of people did.
Oh yeah,
Right?
a lot of people. I was panicking the entire time.
Oh, did you let go with a good blorch, or were you able to keep it from?
I don't like throw up when other people throw up. I just get really
pukey. Yeah.
I'm like yeah.
Turn away. Hold your stomach. Bend over. Yeah. I don't know why we're talking about throw up so much. All right. What? Again, you got plenty of time as a freshman, but have you been considering what you might want to do as an avocation or going to school?
I really wanted to go into forensics.
Ah.
For just crime scene investigations and all that cool stuff.
That's cool. I don't think we've ever heard that one either. Forensics. Hematology, oncology. I haven't heard any of those yet. This is interesting. What makes you choose that kind of path?
I just really enjoy watching all that stuff, crime
Piqued your
shows.
interest, CSI shows and all that.
Yeah, all that.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, got anybody you want to give a shout out?
My world geography teacher, Coach Farst.
Coach Farst, yeah. And
He's
you get
really
to talk to him
cool.
on the sidelines too if you need to, right? Good. Yeah, I've known him well. Known him for many years. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, Karina Soto joining us here on the show. Thanks, Karina, and thanks to all of the minions who've joined us tonight. 7 of them. They were without the head minion, I guess, David Crew Bowman, Cabrina, Bethany, Avery, Scarlett, Lucy, Reagan, and Karina. And we're going to take another short break, and when we return, more nonstop honking of the Cedar Park football horn right here from Alzer's Barbecue on Timberwolf 9 America. This is the Vype Live Network.
You know the Alzer family. They've been involved in Cedar Park sports for years, just as Alzer's Barbecue has been involved in Cedar Park cuisine for years. It's one-of-a-kind, authentic Texas barbecue. Brisket, turkey, chicken, lamb, terrific sides and sauces. It's sheer succulence. That's Alzer's Barbecue, next to the CVS on Cypress Creek Road, just west of Old 183.
Hey high schoolers, are you interested in a career in sports media? Vype can help. Launched in 2017, our Vype U Ambassador Program is a one-of-a-kind educational scholarship program that offers high school students a chance to gain hands-on experience in the sports media field. Vype U also gives students a platform to build their portfolio of creative work under the guidance of Vype's seasoned professionals. From covering games to publishing photos, writing articles, and conducting on-camera interviews, each Vype U ambassador receives an immersive experience geared toward their interests, while promoting their own school and preparing them for their future. Email info@vypemedia.com to find out more about Vype U today.
Army Ant Moving calls Cedar Park home for movers that residents and businesses can rely on. For outstanding moving expertise and trustworthy estimates, Army Ant Moving stands above the rest. Their reputation speaks for itself. They've received the Angie's List Superior Service Award for the last 2 years. Their movers are highly trained and experienced, so whether you need to move your household to a new home across town or an entire corporate office to a new location, your valuables are in knowledgeable and reliable hands with Army Ant Moving Company. Check them out at armyantmoving.com.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders across the country. In fact, in just our area alone, the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has granted more than $343,000 to local first responder heroes. That's why at Firehouse Subs they make their subs differently, because their subs can make a difference. And their family of restaurant owners and local crews are proud to continue to serve you hot, hearty, life-saving subs you crave every day. With Firehouse Subs Rapid Rescue to Go, it's never been easier to grab subs to go for you or your whole crew. Save time when you order online at firehousesubs.com or on their app. And they'll have your sub boxed, bagged, and ready to be picked up at our designated to-go areas. No line, no waiting. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
Favorite metal shop. Tradition we started right before the second half begins. Band down in front of the student section playing that. You know, we go to a lot of places now, and there's a lot of people who have copied that tradition. We were the first ones to do it way the hay back in 2007, by the way. That's when that started. And we claim that tradition along with a number of other things that people do around here. We are the trendsetters. Welcome back, episode 11 of Timberwolf Night in America for 2022, live from Alzer's Barbecue. I'm Brad Cohn. Josh Willard unable to join us as yet. We hope he can still make it before the end. Daniel Garrigan is our QA tonight here on the Vype Network, bringing you all the stuff from right here in the heart of the 613. We're going to look at some Black Rain team defensive stats right now. I've been talking about these guys playing so well all through the season, and one of the first things I want to fasten on is in this spreadsheet, we've got a thing that does the cumulative total and then the average per game as it progresses through the season. After the first game, we were giving up 418. Well, we gave 418 yards that first game, not very good. Then we played Vandegrift and got ourselves spanked, and our average went up to 465. But listen to what's happened ever since that point. Excuse me. This is our average allowed yards for the season as it downwardly adjusts through other games, starting with Round Rock down to 432, then down to 353, staying at 353, then to 383, went up a little bit, then 343, then 333, and last week 309. You can see that on a graph is a mostly downward trend where our average yards surrendered right now by this defense is 309. That is incredibly impressive. Now listen to this rushing yardage totals. 195 to Cedar Ridge, 204 to Vandy, 245 to Round Rock. Those three games, not very good. We're looking at about a little over 600 yards rushing in those games. And we've only given up 1,400 total. So only 800 more yards spread out over the next 6 games. And here are those numbers. The next one, not good, 278. Then 130, 119, 67, 160, and last week 16. So again, another downward curve. And in district, in fact, since the Round Rock game, that's all the district games. That includes all the teams who are above us in the standings right now. This defense has only given up 2 rushing touchdowns. 1 to College Station, 1 to Glenn. That is really, really impressive. Excuse me, I had to cough again. We look at our district passing totals, and we gave up a lot in non-district, almost 700 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. Guess how many touchdowns we've given up since the Vandegrift game? 2! 131 attempts, 75 complete, 5 interceptions, 716 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 5.47 yards per attempt in district, averaging only 119 passing yards a game. Here are interceptions. Brady Elford's got 3 of them. Round Rock, Eastview, and Leander. Case and Cave has 1, and it was a pick 6 against Hendrickson. Tanner McDaniel also had 1 against Hendrickson. There's the only game where we had more than 1. Garrett Nichols had 1 against Glenn. We've got 3 games in a row where we've had at least 1 interception. Defensive and return team scoring, Elford, an 85-yard fumble return for a touchdown against Eastview. Case and Cave, that 80-yard interception return against Hendrickson. And here's a number that if I'm Brent Britton, I hang my hat on. And I don't know that a lot of people track this, but it strikes me too. I've been doing it for a number of years for our coaches. And that's tracking the number of opponent offensive plays that gain 1 yard, 0 yard, or negative yards. So basically, you're having your way with them. There have been 119 rushing plays, which include sacks, resulting in a gain of 1 or less yardage. 201 total opponent offensive snaps that gain 1 yard or less, because an incomplete pass is one of those, for example. That's 472 total opponent offensive snaps, 201 of them 1 yard or less. That's 42.6% of opponent offensive snaps this year gaining 1 yard, 0 yards, or negative yardage. I don't know that you can find another high school defense around who is anywhere close to that percentage. And actually, that is down from some of our defenses in the past where we're hovering around 48 and 49%. That is still one of the better numbers around. So I wanted to go over those numbers for our defensive fans. We don't get to talk about defensive stats very often. And, of course, I don't track independent individual defensive stats like tackles and passes batted away and assists and all that, because the coaches go through each game film, each play very painstakingly, sometimes from more than one angle, to assess that themselves. It's easy for me to see that, well, that was Nicholson on that carry for 5 yards. So I can do that for offensive numbers, but not for defense. Okay, let me take a drink before I do this next section. All right, and now some bad news, folks. NFHS is another outfit that's jammed itself into our niche of broadcasting high school sports over the internet. They brought a lot of political power, a lot of money, a lot of clout to the endeavor. And now NFHS has bought the broadcast rights to every postseason game in every high school sport statewide. So, what that means to us, for the first time in 15 years, we, as the official broadcasters of Cedar Park football, don't even own our own playoff games. It's another huge step backwards for our viewers, coming right on the heels of going to pay-per-view. NFHS can decide that they like the matchup they see and come in and do that game themselves with their own crew. Or, for a fee, I believe, Vype can request to do it for them with our crew. Thing is, in such a case, no sponsor spots or commercials for our sponsors. No logos for sponsors or for the team. And, the biggest of all, the broadcast has to be neutral, with no detectable pulling for the Timberwolves. Now, if it weren't for the fact that I don't want to break our string of broadcasting every game since week 1 of 2008, I'd simply refuse to do it. Our audience deserves to experience these games with the crew they've become familiar with, and to experience us the way they have for 15 years, especially since we've been doing this a hell of a lot longer than NFHS has. I've tapped into a couple of their broadcasts, and most of their crews are as bland as chalk. Now, after doing such a neutral broadcast, we're going to probably have to field a bunch of complaints from our own fans about why we no longer care for the program, or how the new playoff broadcasts make the games a run-of-the-mill, mundane and unexciting, and instead of riding along with us through the game in a forest green and black Corvette, they have to tootle along in some downsized hybrid Prius sedan. Unfortunately, this is going to be very ugly. I don't mind at all doing a neutral broadcast when it's two other teams. I've done that many times before, mostly other teams' playoff games after Cedar Park is eliminated. And those games can be very fun. But when it's Cedar Park and Cedar Park's longtime audience doing it neutral with their regular crew, us, seems like a crime against nature. Maybe it would be best for all of us if some other non-Cedar Park, truly neutral crew did Cedar Park playoff game broadcasts, if that's the way they have to be done. Then our reputation wouldn't have to suffer with our own fans, and we wouldn't have to watch everything we say for 2.5 hours. Now, Merle Bertrand, who's our Vype director, he tells me that Vype could still broadcast with us audio only, which is what the playoffs have been for years anyway, but that Vype management above his head would probably not choose to do that, since glamming on with NFHS apparently brings them a lot more money. One thing you can bet the farm on: if we ever get good enough again to make deep playoff runs, you can absolutely count on the fact that things like regional finals, state semifinals, state championship games are going to go to NFHS people. And even if we somehow got to do, say, the state championship game, it would be an absolute dud of a broadcast. No hype, no excitement, no talk about our special insights into the Cedar Park program, no waxing eloquent for our guys if they bring home the bacon. Nothing like the many tremendous moments everyone experienced all those other times that we have done this. An absolutely terrible way to let down our fans and our team. This is definitely not a good development. But life goes on. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it doesn't. And this development is a contributing reason to a decision I've been contemplating. I've been considering this for many weeks, riding the fence on going one way or the other. This issue's pushed me off that fence. Next year will be my final football season broadcasting Cedar Park football. After that, I'll still do the stadium mic for home games, still go to every road game because I'll still supply the official stats for our coaches. But the 2023 season will be my last one broadcasting Cedar Park football. I cannot abide doing our broadcast less than 100% the right way, and this development will prevent that, at least in the playoffs. I won't be involved in providing for you fans a lesser product. Now, bringing you all Timberwolf football every week, every fall, has been one of the greatest parts of my life for a decade and a half. And so, yes, I will definitely miss doing it. But the time has come. It's not just this detrimental NFHS development, but as I age, and I'm 63 now, there are nagging little things I can tell will begin to degrade my effectiveness soon. The eyesight is lessening, so is the hearing, the energy levels decreasing, and I want to go out while still providing a high-quality product on my own terms. So it's time to begin to fade away. Here's hoping for another great run next season. One last gallop down the road for this old jockey. My final year in this role. Okay, thanks for indulging me there. It is trivia time. All right, girls, we need you to come pick a spokesman to wear the headset, but all of you can help her on this. Now, we call this academic exercise. A couple of years ago, I found on the National Education Agency website, easy for you to say, let me try it again, National Education Agency, see, that's why I'm quitting, can't even talk, website, a series of questions across a broad spectrum of subjects that the agency said every American high school senior should know. Their course material should have been covered, should be covering all these things. So we're going to ask just 17 of those many questions and see how our trainers do. Okay. All right. So it's Cabrina who's going to be the answer. All right, here's the first one. What's the longest river in the world? The Nile. You got it. Ding, 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 ding. Let me put that one. Let me mark that one green so you got that point. Ooh, here we go. I got to get that set up. I should have set that up earlier. There we go. All right. What's the farthest south state capital in the United States? Farthest south state capital in the United States. I should say in the contiguous United States. Austin, that's right. And it's good of you to ask that. I should have pointed out they're talking about contiguous because you would have that right would have been it. She said Hawaii. All right. Name as many of the 4 United States presidents that have been assassinated as you can. JFK is one of them. Assassinated. Not a lot of them have been shot but lived. We're talking about actually killed. Lincoln. 2 more. Those are the 2 most well known. The other 2. John what? No. Lincoln was the first. Kennedy was the last. About 100 years apart. The 2 in the middle, some of you may not even have heard of them. They're not really well discussed. No, he didn't. He didn't get assassinated. His mind just wasted away. But anyway. Okay. All right, you got two of them, though. You got Abe Lincoln, John Kennedy. In between, there's James Garfield and William McKinley. Garfield wasn't president for long. It's a matter of weeks, I think, before he was shot. All right, let's, I got to mark Lincoln green. Yes, that gets you a point. Kennedy green, that gets you a point. All right, next. If I insisted that you drink an entire cup full of hydrogen dioxide, should you refuse? No, it's water. Ding, 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 ding. All right. You're supposed to know that. It's hydrogen dioxide. It's pure water. It's pure. It's just hydrogen dioxide. It's pure water as you can get. All right. Who's the current U.S. Secretary of State? Current U.S. Secretary of State. Any ideas? Well, she's not old, and you can't not like her because it's not a she. It's Anthony Blinken. All right. Name the 4 oceans in descending order of size. Yep. 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 Got all 4 of those. Ding, 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 ding. Y'all are doing well at this. We've tested some other groups that didn't do so well. All right, how many men have walked on the moon? A lot, actually. What'd you say? Somebody said a number. 12 is correct. Did you say that? That is correct. Was that a guess or did you know? That's outstanding. I'm amazed. I gave somebody, the running back or something a year or two ago, a hint here. They asked for a hint. I gave them a hint. I said, well, you know, we sent 7 missions to the moon. 1 didn't land, Apollo 13, you know the movie. So we sent 6 that landed. And he goes, oh, and there's 3 guys on each one, so 18. No, he didn't know the math. Because 1 stayed above all times. Only 2 went down and landed. Anyway, but you got it, 12. All right, here we go. True or false statements about ancient Rome. It had a giant sports stadium. True, the Colosseum. It had a fully plumbed public water system. Yes, it did. It contained over 200 miles of paved streets and roads. So what's the answer? True or false? True is true. That's correct. It had electricity available in some parts of the city. False. It had medical facilities that could perform organ transplants. No, not organ transplants. It had medical facilities that could perform brain surgery. True. They did. They could tinker with the, they'll do lobotomies, tinker with the frontal lobe. All right, most of its buildings were made of concrete. Yes, they actually invented concrete. In fact, civilization forgot the formula for concrete in the Middle Ages, and we went 700 or 800 years not knowing how to make it anymore, wondering how they made that stuff. They invented it. It is kind of sad. All right, what's the boiling point of water in both Fahrenheit and Celsius? Boiling point of water, Fahrenheit and Celsius. Are you talking Celsius or Fahrenheit? Celsius is 100. That's half a point. What is Fahrenheit? 32 in Fahrenheit, but what's boiling in Fahrenheit? Do you all never cook? Okay. Talk to your mom. It's 212. 212 in Fahrenheit boils. But you got half of it. We marked the Celsius number green. Okay. What's the fourth planet from the sun? That's right. Mars. We're headed that way. What is NASA's, this is not one of the questions, just asking you. What's NASA's projected year that we're going to be landing a crew on Mars? I thought it was 34. It was 34. It's only 12 years away. I'm excited. I hope I live that long. All right. What's the formula for calculating the circumference of a circle? Pi r squared is correct. You guys are doing better at this than a lot of the groups that we've given this test, by the way. If you're not filing quarterly, by what date should you file your federal income taxes? But they're saying they teach this in school. If you're not filing quarterly, by which date should you file your federal income taxes? She's got the right number, but the wrong month. It's April 15th. All right. Name the 4 slave states that did not secede to the Confederacy in the Civil War. No? We did secede. There's 4 that did not secede, but they stayed slave states. No. Kentucky's one. Nope, not Tennessee. They weren't slave states. They weren't slave states. 3 other slave states besides Kentucky that did not secede and stayed with the Union. No, they were a main southern state. Capital of the Confederacy was in Virginia. Okay. What you should have been thinking of is along the border between the northern ones and the southern ones. Those kind of border area states are the ones like Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, Delaware. Did you say Missouri? Okay. All right, we'll give you that one. All right. So you got 2 points there. Kentucky and Missouri, the other 2 being Delaware and Maryland. All right, spell the word disestablishmentarianism. 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 It's close. You missed 3 letters. It's disestablishmentarianism. You were close. You were close. Disestablishmentarianism. One of the longest words in language. I won an argument with a high school teacher of mine once. It didn't endear me to her, by the way. When I pointed out, she said that's the longest word in the English language. I said, no, it isn't. What? No, it isn't. Disestablishmentarianistical is a little longer. All right, which countries speak German as their main language? Which countries speak German as their main language? German. Which countries speak German as their main language? There are 5 of them. All in Europe. One is Germany, yes. No, they speak French. Austria, correct. You're smarter than Barack Obama. He thought they speak Austrian in Austria. Luxembourg, yes. Who's getting all these answers? Melon. There's two. Dancer Senior, the hyper brain. Okay, two more. You got two more? Anybody else? One of them I'd think you'd get. Not France. He can speak French. No, they speak Polish. All right, the other two are Switzerland and Liechtenstein. But you got 2 points. Or 3 points, rather. You got Germany, Luxembourg, Austria. I'm impressed with Luxembourg. Okay, which of the following countries have socialist governments? Cuba. Yes or no?
Oh, you're giving us the answer?
Yeah, you got to say yes or no. Do they have a socialist government? Yes, they do.
I just said yes.
She said yes, so you got the point for it. The first answer I heard was yes. That's socialist. Venezuela. Yes. Green one for that. Vietnam. What's the answer? Yes is the answer. China. Yes is the answer. Yugoslavia. You're right, it isn't anymore. They ceased to exist and got chopped up. Let's go instead to Czechoslovakia. Actually, no. They've got a republic. Bulgaria. No. Russia. They used to, very famously, but they're not anymore. Yeah. They got the structure of a republic, but one guy's kind of just giving all the orders. All right. And lastly, in 1965, a worldwide study found that the United States ranked first in the world in the academic achievements of the students in its public schools. This is a study conducted by the UN. They conducted that again in 2019. Where did it rank in that more recent 2019 study? In 1965, a worldwide study found that the United States ranked first in the world in the academic achievements of the students in its public schools. Where did it rank in the more recent 2019 study? I wish. How about 23rd? That worries me more than anything you find on the political shows of what's going on in the world. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, we're sports and we worry about social scenes. All right, but you got a lot of points. Let me see here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 out of a possible 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. That's still pretty good. When I compare you to the other groups that we've given this test in the last couple of years, that's one of the better performances. Well, of course it is. All right. Good deal. Josh's not here, so we can't play Steal Josh's Ice Cream. But just for fun, I'll ask you the questions I was going to ask you, and then tell you the ones I was going to ask him and give you the answers. All right. First one. In Major League Baseball, at least how many outs does a team need to get on their opponent to end the game? The game. In Major League Baseball, and that's different than high school baseball for those of you who know that sport. I don't know. What do you call big? 27 is correct. Nice job. In basketball, is there such a thing as a 4-point play? Wrong. Hit a three-pointer, get fouled, hit the free throw. 4-point play. Avery was wrong? Somebody take a picture. All right, in the major horse races, such as the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont Stakes, the Preakness, how many laps do the horses run? 1. Nice job. You guys got 2 out of 3. Here are the questions I was going to ask Josh. I'm going to ask them to these 2 gentlemen back here. I'm going to ask these 2. They're older, wiser, have more experience, have paid more attention to sports. All right, what is the biggest rivalry in the English Premier League? There you go. He says, what's the English Premier League? Soccer. It's the biggest soccer league in the world. Biggest rivalry in the English Premier League. That's true. Who's their biggest rival? Oh, that's a good rivalry. It's not considered the biggest. Liverpool's considered their biggest rival. Liverpool and Manchester U. All right, next one. What is the current world record time for the mile run? 2 hours if I ran it. 3 is a good start. 4:32. That's close. They're saying 3:49, 3:48. It's 3:43:13. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. All right. Gentlemen, Steve, Craig. We always knew hockey players were a little weird. They can get a penalty for something called butt ending. What is that? And keep it clean. Butt ending. What is butt ending in hockey? In hockey. He guesses sticking your butt in the other person. Not quite. When a player uses the shaft of the stick above where the upper hand is to check or jab an opposing player. So you can see Josh's questions are tough. I don't know. There is a high stick. It's something else, though. That's swing your stick up high at him. Over the neck, I think. But anyway, yeah, so Josh's quests are tougher. We'll get him back on next year. All right, our last feature of the night, a preview of Georgetown. First, let's reiterate the importance of this game. At the lowest level, a win here ensures that we don't have the program's first losing record in 19 years, since before any of these players were even born. Also, a win here keeps alive an outside chance at a share of the district crown, which we would get if College Station and AM Consolidated both lose. This will be the 18th time Cedar Park and Georgetown have played each other in football. No team has played us more. Cedar Park has a massive advantage in the overall record, 14 wins to 2. Excuse me. Yeah, 14 wins to 2 in the previous games. Georgetown has not won this game since 2008. Their other win was 2007. They have never beaten us at Birkelbach. Their sole 2 wins over us were now so long ago that the 2 venues in which they occurred have both been torn down and replaced. Old Bible in 2008 and their old Rodeo Arena Stadium in 2007. The Timberwolves have logged 9 straight wins over the Eagles. Somewhat weirdly, the games played at home are always close, although we always seem to pull them out. At Birkelbach is where most of the large margin wins have occurred, although that's not what happened last year. 7 lead changes in the last 7.5 minutes, and Josh Pell hits a streaking Cody Marshall with a 54-yard touchdown strike with 13 seconds left to win 49-45. Probably the most exciting game I ever called. Rest assured, Georgetown remembers that. And all our other great comeback wins over them through the years. We got a 17-pointer, a 21-pointer. They thought they had us beat. We came back and beat them anyway. This season they are strong at 7-2 and 5-1. They run up some big scores offensively, but their defense gives up more points than anyone in the district besides Leander. I saw them escape by the skin of their teeth at Bible Stadium Thursday night, 28-22 against Glenn, a team we thoroughly dominated just 6 days earlier. So this game is winnable. Again, what we ask is improved blocking in both the running and passing game from the offensive line, 4 or 5 yards or more on every first down play, a 4.5 rushing average or better, and that same old reliable performance from the Black Rain. If we get these things, we will win this game. Once again, Booster Club sponsors Covert, Ford, Alzer's Barbecue, Sewell Land Rover, and Jaguar, Mission of Hope Life Family, Reef Financial, TJ Lewis Real Estate, Raising Cane's Cafe Time Photography, Money Real Estate, RI Sport Performance, Physical Performance, Family Emergency Room, Lakeline, One South Roots, Barbecue, and HEB. Be sure to visit our new sponsor, Family Emergency Room in Lakeline, 24/7 to see a board-certified emergency physician for affordable care of all your minor to major emergencies with upfront pricing and no surprise bills. All right, that's it for our 11th episode of Timberwolf Night in America for 2022. Friday night, the Timberwolves are on the road at Birkelbach Stadium in Georgetown to face the always tough Georgetown Eagles. If you can't be at the stadium, watch us on the Vype Network. I'll have the play-by-play. Josh will have color. Thanks to our several guests tonight: Sabrina Bowman, Bethany Zitrere, Avery Mellon, Scarlett Dennis, Lucy Zitrere, Reagan Burns, and Karina Soto. Tune in next week when Josh and I will host students from the broadcast program at CPHS. For our QA, Daniel Garrigan, and for my own personal Tony Romo, Josh Willard, Brad Cohn signing off. You've been listening to Timberwolf Night in America on the Vype